Raging Balls.
Hello and welcome to the first Raging Balls podcast. I'm Andrew Wooden. With me is Roland Marsh.
Hello.
This is the first episode of Raging Balls. We're going to be an entertainment podcast, mainly looking at film and TV, general entertainment. This episode will be taking a look back at 2012, what's been big, what's been rubbish, what's been good. We'll also be looking at The Hobbit, one of the big releases of this year. Okay, so did you have a good Christmas, Roland?
Yep, usual family vibes. Yourself?
Yeah, same old stuff, innit? Bit of turkey, I imagine.
I'm vegetarian now, remember?
Oh, yeah, vegetarian now. So what do you have, a nut roast?
Yeah, nut roast is the way forward these days.
And that's, yeah.
And all the trimmings.
Well, not all the trimmings, because you're vegetarian.
All the trimmings except for the meat.
All the nuts.
Yeah, lots of nuts.
Yeah, alright.
Christmas TV?
Christmas TV, well, I mean, yeah, it's always a big thing. They have all the
Get your radio
specials in
times?
there. Yeah, I don't care. I mean, honestly, I'm not very enthusiastic about Christmas TV as a whole.
I don't really know why everyone gets their radio times, because they flick through, see what's on, and no one ever watches anything on other than the Queen's speech, which...
Yeah, well, I'm a bit surprised radio times are still going, to be honest, in this day and age. It seems so antiquated.
Okay. I would only ever buy it at Christmas.
Yeah.
Only because, as a youngster, I used to flick through and see which of the blockbusters were...
Yeah,
going to be playing, but these days
on demand.
Everything's
though.
on.
Do you care what time it's on?
Yeah, everything's on TV these days anyway. Within a year or so, being out in cinemas.
Also, you can watch whatever programs are about when you want anyway.
Yeah, and DVDs, we can pick them up for £5 after a couple of months after they come out.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not a big thing these. I mean, unless you're into your soaps, unless you're looking at the EastEnders special where Alfie's
dead, or someone's dead.
Well,
every year.
someone's obviously dies. I think.
Oh,
I mean, I don't watch soaps anymore, but just from looking at what was going on, I believe that one of the Brannings died in EastEnders.
Yeah, I picked that up by having minor.
He had a heart attack because he was having too much sex with Kat.
Is that true?
Who puts it out a bit?
I don't know who Kat is. Is Kat the same one
you
as
know,
before?
Kat's like, yeah, she came back.
Yes, I am. That was a big thing,
Elfie.
Yeah.
And other, I think Emmerdale probably someone got run over by a bulldozer or something.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, I mean.
Got so little time for soaps, especially
Christmas Day, if you're watching TV, there's a problem there somewhere. In your family, if you're watching TV, what's wrong with your family?
That's a bold statement.
Is that too much to say?
Especially as we've just pitched this as an entertainment and TV podcast.
Yeah, but I like TV. I like entertainment. But at Christmas,
have a nut roast.
But you're opening your presents, you're chatting, you're doing silly quizzes, you get the Monopoly out of the cupboard and play it for the first time in since last
7
Christmas.
years.
Since last Christmas. That's the only time the board games come out.
I'll stay.
So you've got board games, you've got quizzes, you're eating and drinking lots and getting the cheese board out. In what point on Christmas do you turn TV on?
We often have it on. I think we'll have it on, but it won't necessarily be watched that much. It'll be on in the background.
Okay. Well, the Snowman and the Snow Dog was out. Did you watch that?
What do you reckon?
I didn't watch it.
No, what do you reckon? Do you think I watched The Snowman?
Well, no, I definitely know you didn't watch The Snowman.
Yeah, okay.
Because that would be right up your back passage.
The Snowman is right up my back passage.
No, to be honest, I can't get excited about Christmas TV because it's all so contrived. You get people, they do a mashup, don't they? You get different presenters doing different things. You got, I think, Darren Brown's doing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something. I don't know.
Is this right? Is this true?
Yeah. Is that all they can think of? That's what I mean. Like Christmas Tree is that bad.
Well, it's just
they have to get
celebrities
Gordon
on
Ramsay
telly
to front Deal or No Deal.
I watched a bit of Gordon Ramsay cook along with me when it was, he had a lot. It was quite. He's in his kitchen, his massive kitchen, sort of cooking the turkey and stuff like that, and like celebrities will just drop by and go, "Ding dong, who's at the door?"
Oh, is it? It's Noel Edmonds?
It's some instantly forgettable minor celebrity from.
But why is that happening? Why is that at Christmas? Do you know what would be a delight for the viewers?
Go on.
Get Gordon Ramsay to front a kind of crinkly bottom type show, and Mr. Blobby turns up. Do people want to watch that? I want to watch Ramsay shout at people in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's
a bit
Christmas.
unchristmassy though.
But why at Christmas do we want to see him wearing a bobble hat and I don't know why, but why would he be wearing a bobble?
Well, a Christmas hat, if anything.
Put in Jamie Oliver's cracker, not in a gay way.
Well, You said that
possibly in a
quite
gay way.
way.
But you like Homeland, which we're going to talk a bit about later.
Well,
would you like
I
a
watched
Homeland Christmas special? Would that be interesting for you?
I think that'd be a bit odd, like a Christmas special terrorist attack.
But do we need these Christmas specials? Why can't we just have good TV? We're coming up to the end of the year, New Year's Day. Well, by the time you might listen to this, it might not be.
Yeah.
But 2000.
This is slick.
2012.
Yeah.
Exciting year for you?
Yeah, well, I assume, like most sensible and rational people, that the world was going to end a couple of weeks ago.
The Mayans, modern day, for us, the modern day clairvoyance.
Yeah. Or the very much the latter.
No, what I mean, what I mean is that we're in the modern day and we're still thinking about what the Mayans said a zillion years ago.
A zillion years ago, yeah.
We can pronounce it however way you like, but...
Muans, I say.
Mulan.
Yeah, but I don't think they did.
Mulan said that the world was going to end about 20 years ago. Yeah. It didn't happen.
Well, no, she was a lying bitch.
Christopher Biggins said it was going to end on his birthday.
Did he?
No, but I'm just... you know what I mean? There's everyone's getting involved.
Well, there's been so many.
Before, who's the famous...
David Icke?
No, well, yeah.
Well, I mean, when you said
he reckons the lizards will take the world and put it in a boat and ship it out to sea. But who's that main one? Who's the big one?
What, that predicted the end of the world?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Nostradamus.
That's the one.
Yeah.
What's he got to say about 2012? Well, did he have anything to say? Or?
Well, no. I think he sort of explicitly said that.
His predicted about 2 years ago, was it?
Yeah. Well, I think it was longer ago than that. It was about 10 years ago, maybe 20. But like, it was explicitly the end of the world in terms of like almost a biblical fight between good and evil and everything. Whereas the Mayan,
but his was more about the millennium, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that was.
Yeah, it was a millennium thing. Yeah,
because over 2000.
Yeah, and it'll end and it'll be wars and all this and everything. But they're so vague and sort of fluffy that you can attribute them to anything.
How much was that on Facebook? There was a Facebook sensation. Everyone was having a voice on. Oh, what's the end of the world?
Idiots. Though.
But does anyone believe it, or was it just a big kind of laugh?
I think a lot of people do believe it, and they were genuinely thinking maybe they had something to say about this. Maybe they predicted it. Not that they even said it.
What was ridiculous about it was that actually, if you spoke to any Mayans, however you want to,
which still exists as a civilization,
they actually would probably say to you, "Well, no, it's
the end of the calendar."
The end of the calendar.
Some people would say that they'd gone above and beyond. 2,000 years after.
People try to read between the lines. Oh, the calendar ended. That must mean that it's the end.
The end of the world. Which is a big leap of extrapolation to then go and, sell all your clothes for.
Well, I stocked up in baked beans and,
Did you?
And shut up.
That'll stop it.
And I thought
the asteroid.
Well, yeah, covered my house in Teflon.
Oh yeah.
And thought that if everyone else is going, I might be alright.
Well, at least I'm having some beans.
Got some beans until I can open up my own shop.
Selling beans.
Selling more beans.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't a big deal for me.
That's apocalyptic news.
Apocalyptic news was in 2002. Well, in
Cinematic
general,
releases.
Well, no, for you, entertainment-wise, was an exciting year. There were some big guns out there today.
There were some big guns firing up their pistols.
Okay, what was big for you this year?
The Olympics was quite good. From some of the, I don't
know
like
you're not
sport.
a big sport fan. Myself, I'm the opposite. I am a huge sports fan.
Yeah,
so for me, it was massive.
Yeah, it was good, but I found myself like watching. Involved. Yeah, I was watching loads of old shit that I never thought I would. But like
handball. You're a convert to handball.
I think I saw a bit of handball.
Far I can see, you pick up the ball, you jump in the air, and you throw it in the goal.
Yeah, it's fun.
And if he gets it in,
I like anything that I look at and think I could have a good go at that.
Well, that's the good thing about it. Handball. 2012 was all about, because it's in our own country. It's like it should be inspiring, inspiring youngsters and also older people to say, okay, I could do something with my life. It doesn't have to be Olympics, but I think people, when they watched handball, are like, I've missed a trick here. I could be an Olympic athlete
at a made-up sport.
Because all you have to do, as far as I can see, is chuck a really small ball into a fairly big goal.
Yeah,
I think we can all get involved in that.
Well, exactly. So it's not like if you pick up tennis, that's well difficult.
Oh, wow, not really though.
Not anymore. No.
And I've certainly the twilight years of my sporting
twilight
career.
Years.
Is that the right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I just don't think you should really describe yourself as on death's door. No,
but when you hit your 30,
hit your 30,
unless you're playing darts, you can go on to about 45, I reckon.
Well, footballers a lot of them go into 40.
Okay, well, I'm saying I'm not a spring chicken anymore.
No,
but I reckon I could probably take on Guatemala and win at handball.
What, on your own?
Well, no, if I get a few of my buddies together.
A few of your buddies together.
Join.
I think there's a film in it.
What, the handball heroes?
Handball
heroes?
Roland's handball... Well, you have to be called Hannibal.
Well, it doesn't... Yeah.
Hannibal's handball heroes.
Sign me up. It was a good year for film, especially. I mean... how many blockbusters we had?
Big year for blockbusters.
Every few weeks there would be box office records were smashed by the latest opening. We had the Avengers. Obviously, comic fans have been waiting years and years for that to happen. That was huge. Then you had obviously the Batman, the Dark Knight Rises. Skyfall was huge. In the 50th year
Big Bond.
of James Bond, and then
50th, it's 60th, isn't it?
I think it was 50th. I think.
Yeah, either way.
Either way.
Old man.
Well, Daniel Craig's. He's looking a bit old these days, isn't he?
I think he's probably 50,
mid-40s.
I suppose.
Yeah,
Or is he mid-40s?
He could be
mid-40s, I don't know.
So I suppose they've, that's good.
But then they weaved that into the narrative, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They made
him a bit harsh in the film.
That was part of it. It was him. He's not up.
The first half of the film was just various people calling him an old man.
Yeah, it was, and also even
and just him looking not impressed.
Even Silver's kind of villainous character was all about you're
Old
not
England.
ready. You're most probably going to die, and Mummy was very bad to send you to me to death. But then he proved himself to be up for the fight, didn't he? And obviously, just recently, the Hobbit has come out. Big event that's just happened. It's Middle Earth Mania again, and we've got the Hobbit, which a few months ago I thought it was all about the Hobbit, can't wait for the Hobbit, until I realised it was a part one of another 3-part saga again.
Yeah, that sort of came out quite a long time after the film was announced, so I think everyone assumed or was told, I'm not sure what the press releases would have said, but that it was going to be a one film thing, because the Hobbit book is a much
it's a very
shorter
small
book
compared to Lord of the Rings, which is an
Lord of the Rings is 3 books.
Well, and it's a real epic, whereas the Hobbit is kind of
it's a questy.
It's a normal kind of size novel. It's really not. I know Tolkien's writing is very elaborately descriptive, so there is a lot of content to get into. On watching the film, would you say it felt like a bit of film tape that had been stretched out to the point at which you were watching a lot of dull stuff, or do you think that it was actually justified in there was enough to get you going, there was enough action, and it wasn't just whittling on with a load of dialogue to try and stretch it out to 3 hours and for 3 films?
Well, to be honest, I mean, there's always a bit of whittling on when it comes to any of these films. There was a lot of whittling on with Lord of the Rings, but I enjoyed those.
I have to say
films.
that the final one of them was a bit of a bore for me.
I think the full version was about 5 hours long. Like, if you get not that I got it, but like the director's cut or whatever, but like a good 5 hours long, and about an hour and a half of that is like everything's finished and they're just sort of wrapping it up.
Well, they seem to do that. Annoyingly, they seem to do that with a lot of these sagas. Do you think that by the time we get to the third one, it's just going to be, as you say, everything's done and everyone's going to be hugging for 2 hours?
Well, probably, but I mean, the fact of it is, I don't think it's just about the Hobbit. I think that they're pulling in lots of elements of the Silmarillion, however you pronounce it, which was his sort of like. I haven't read a lot of Tolkien, to be honest, but I think it's sort of various myths and notes and things like that, and bits of histories and stuff like that. Well, they seem to have crowbarred a lot of that in.
I agree. I think they tried to give the fans everything.
You couldn't do a film on that stuff on its own, so they've sort of put it in here.
And the first film, as I say, they give everything its 5 minutes, in the spotlight. Even the stone giants, got about 10 minutes. You had that opening scene with the dwarfs was a bit of a kind of comic farce. It was, a little bit of a jokey kind of slapstick thing, like one dwarf after another comes through the door. Oh God, another dwarf, that's annoying, and that was half an hour. But
are they all Scottish? I mean, I think I think once I got through the first 45-50 minutes, it was quite enjoyable after that. My main problem with it was it took about that long to leave the effing Hobbit cage, whatever it's called, that Hobbit hole.
They made a lot of the feast, but
yeah, constantly eating apples. It's like we're a good half hour in, and they're just sort of passing around a bit of cheese. Like, oh right, come on.
Maybe they were trying to kind of show how different the Hobbit is from.
Yeah, but we have just come off the back of a full trilogy where they've explained that.
No, you're right. We didn't need all that kind of stuff because we know that the Bilbo and the Hobbits are very kind of, you know, a little bit meek, a little bit kind of unassuming.
And also, don't worry about it. We're talking
warriors.
about real ridiculous nonsense fantasy stuff. You don't need to establish these things like it's a real hardball drama. You have to understand the intricacies of the CIA and what.
No, for me, it felt
magical.
For me, it felt like a bit of a comic sketch. You know, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hobbits suddenly packing into this tiny little house. I'm not sure how they all fitted in, to be honest.
Well, they're little, aren't they?
Yeah, but you say that, but then Gandalf is going to be massive, isn't he?
Yeah, but he stoops over.
Yeah, I know, but one of the dwarves was fairly big. Thor in Oakenshield, he was pretty big.
Oh, he knows the names. He knows all the names.
But that was actually one of the things I thought. You know, dwarves are meant to be tiny, but the Hobbit.
But they're bigger than hobbits, I think.
Yeah, they're bigger than hobbits, but I don't think that they were that much smaller than Gandalf is with this, you know, huge wizard, or maybe he just looks huge compared to them. I don't know. But anyway, it was a bit of a farce, the opening scene. It was quite fun, it was quite humorous.
But that's what you sort of sign up for with that sort of thing. The Hobbit was a kid's book, whereas I think Lord of the Rings was supposed to be.
I think you're right there. I think that's maybe why they got a bit, and that's probably why they brought Martin Freeman in, because he gives the kind of.
But he was good as that sort of comedic role, and
he was good.
I first of all thought like, bloody hell, but he was quite good in that, and he was very humorous.
Let's be honest.
Whereas what's his face, Frodo,
it was his usual act.
Yeah, but it worked. It worked well.
It worked.
Whereas, was it Elijah Wood in
I can't stand Elijah Wood.
But it was just so po-faced, and it's like, no, you're a silly little elf, and you have to get a hobbit, and you've got massive feet. You can't.
You can't get that wrong. You'd be shot by a fantasy nut.
Well,
he'd have your guts regardless for calling a hobbit an elf.
I can't do it, Sam. No, and all this like proper high drama. Like, no,
Elijah Wood.
You're
very much
Wood
like Daniel Radcliffe in Harry Potter. I just can't understand the casting. They're both so unlikable. I don't get it. But yeah, you had to get the comedy elements out of the other hobbits because they were funny, like Samwise Gamgee and Pep. Was he Pip or Pep or Pep? You know?
Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig. They were funny.
I think
Elijah Wood was not funny whatsoever. I don't know whether that was meant to be because he's going to be the hero and.
Yeah, but he wasn't the hero. He just sort of was a wet blanket for the whole trilogy.
Sam was probably
Sam picked him up every 5 minutes. Went, come on, Mr. Frodo, you can't lie there and wet yourself again.
Mr. Frodo, you're sitting on your ass again.
Mr. Frodo, put that away.
But that doesn't go there in there.
Mister, that's not how you do it.
Not that kind of ring.
No, you've brought the tone down.
But anyway, I thought it was going to be very stretched out and laborious and.
It was,
but but not to the extent that I thought it was going to be. I thought
I went in expecting not to like it very much. I actually quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, once that intro had gone, and it was a bit silly, and it went on for ages. After that, you know, I didn't think it was that slow going. I thought there was always
once it got going, they're running around with axes.
Every 10 minutes they were getting into fights with people. There was the orcs, and I remember there was the quote where one of them said, "Out of the frying pan into the fire," because. Yeah. The 1 minute they'd finished fighting off the
and then they were fighting the frying pan beast.
Yeah, the frying pan beast was white on them.
I'll cook your sausages, hobbits.
I don't think they eat sausages. Do they?
Well, they'll eat anything.
They eat leaves.
Wow.
Anyway, what was I saying? Eggs. But yeah, no. I mean, it was in the end, it wasn't that slow. It was quite fast paced.
Once it got going,
there was a couple of moments where there's a bit of filler, like when they encountered the trolls and they were trying to cook them on the stick, and that went on for about half an hour. That could have been a 10-minute scene.
I'll tell you what did really drag the whole bit with when they reintroduced Gollum, which I understand that's what they got to do it. Jesus Christ, did that scene need to go on for half an hour? Riddles.
But this is what I mean. They because
we know who he is. He was in too much in the first trilogy.
But if you've got to think about it, in the case of you've got a small book that they're making into 3-hour films, so it's gonna be a bit of filler. And you're right, the troll scene didn't need to be half an hour. The opening scene didn't be half an hour. The Gollum scene didn't need to be that long.
That was about fun. 40 minutes.
Riddle me this, riddle me that. What's in your pocket? Oh, there's my ring. You've stolen that.
You've stolen that.
You've stolen my precious. It didn't have to be that long, but I did. I think that was actually a bit of a show stealer. I think Andy Xerxes was
circus.
Well, What's
I don't know.
Picking me up on these bloody.
Well, you said Xerxes. That's like.
Well, you know.
Circus, isn't it? Is it Andy Serkis? Oh, am I wrong? I don't know.
It's spelled Serkis. Something like that. If you want to call it a circus, then you're in a circus around here.
If you want to get
clown. But anyway, I thought that Gollum, you know, was in great form. He was creepy. He was weird, and yeah, I mean, it didn't need to be half an hour long.
No, it got overplayed.
But it was fun.
I think they've got into their heads that people love Gollum.
Yeah, no, I think that's the point.
There was so much of him in the other ones.
There's always a bit of merchandising. There's always a bit of, and I think the kids, you know, as you say, Hobbit is more of a kind of children's book. The kids will love Gollum, won't they?
Do they?
They'll lap him up. This little.
Wouldn't they rather have
creature.
the warrior dwarfs with the
warrior
axes? Well, they are the rest of the cast. Wouldn't that make a better action figure than a sort of worm
kids
with a
like
face?
These weird things. They like Furbies.
Kids like these.
Kids like Furbies. He's a bit like a Furby, isn't he, with his big eyes?
Yeah.
I think kids love Gollum, so I think that's why, you know. I think he will be
Gollum.
He will
Gollum.
That's
the noise he makes.
He never does that.
That's why it's called Gollum, because he coughs like that.
Smeagol.
Yeah, but
In my precious.
No, but then he said that he's called Gollum because he coughs like he goes Gollum.
Well, yeah,
Gollum.
No,
that is a major part. There was about an hour in it in the first film.
Okay, well, yes, he's not called Gollum. He's called Smeagol.
Well, his initial name was Smeagol, and then he turned into that sort of smelly old clump of dirt that we've seen. Because that was it. He was Smeagol when he was like a hobbit-y thing. And then, what do you mean?
Well, no, I didn't say that because I'm bowing to your better knowledge.
Well, I've seen it once, and I remember it. I remember the issues.
Okay, we're getting bogged down. Yeah,
I'll bog you down.
Yeah, flush you down the toilet.
I'll bog you off, mate.
Okay. What were your favourite bits in The Hobbit? You know, you said you liked it. It was better than you thought it was going to be.
Yeah, well, I expected it to be a lot more drawn out and everything, and I think because I knew there were going to be bits like that, the rest of the film, the thing is, they're always well done. If you think about them,
you know,
to be honest,
fantastic, vast, you know, scenery,
it's
mountains.
great to see at the cinema.
Fantastic in 3D as well this time.
No,
you get your goggle boxes on.
No, I haven't got time.
I paid my extra 90p or whatever it was to get my 3D glasses.
It's more like £6, isn't it?
No, I think you do pay an extra couple of quid for the 3D, but
yeah, I've got no time.
I don't think that 3D was a huge feature in it. It's just a bit of an add-on, and it, you know. But basically, the visuals are stunning again. The acting was good. You know, you got proper actors in there as well. You know, people like Ian McKellen. You know, it's like a lot of these fantasy films. You do get the big names. Christopher Lee, I mean, you know, a huge name. And it was good. It was nice to see a lot of the big guns were back. Saruman, he was in there.
Well, that's Christopher Lee, isn't it? Yeah.
And you know, Galadriel, Elrond.
King Elrond, whatever the
Lord Elrond, I think he is in the and Galadriel.
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett as Galadriel. Yes. You had the Brown Wizard. He was a bit of a klutz, wasn't he?
Was that Doctor Who?
Yeah, it was Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah.
And he had a bird poo on his head through the whole thing. It was a bit disturbing.
No one explained that.
Oh no, I
wasn't sure.
No, he did.
It was just
he had a bird in his hat, didn't he?
Shit. Oh, and that's what it was. That's actually what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I think he had a bird in his hat and was shitting all the time. And
what an extraordinary thing!
But these creatures, they don't wash much, do they? Let's be honest.
Well, I don't know.
But he was a bit of a joker. He was meant to be a joker because when Saruman talks about him, he's like, oh, don't talk to me about Radagast.
Don't talk to me about that.
He's a right old bird. Well, he is a bird, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's riding around with rabbits, putting his sleigh. Actually, no, he's wanted a sleigh anyway.
Well, yeah, it was. It was like,
Christmas.
They're gonna catch up. It's like these are
rampant rabbits. Apparently, are quicker than those.
Well, they're like wolves with big
things. But he was pretty good. He had a few tricks up his sleeve and a few bits of bird shit on
shit on his face.
But he was quite funny. So he had a bit of comedy here and there. And to be honest, I still find the orcs pretty scary. They are pretty hardcore, aren't they? That dark, pale orc. What's he called? Azog.
Oh, which one was that?
You know,
is that the one with the Captain Hook?
Yeah, his arm got cut off.
They're always good value, aren't they?
Well, yeah,
I smell Hobbit.
They're always quite scary. Then you had the hint of the necromancer.
Yeah, which is like what it brings bring corpses back from the dead.
It's going to bring back, Sauron.
Yeah, maybe it's sort of tying in with the new films because it was talking about. I think it showed one of those old night things that were in the first film, and it's trying to tie it all up.
And then You had the classic ending with the opening of the dragon's eye, and you're going to see obviously I think the next one's all about the desolation of Smog. I think it's called.
What's that?
It's going to be all about the They're going to get to Erebor. They're going to take on try and reclaim their old land, and they're going to have to take on the dragon again. The old big boy, fire breathing big boy.
Yeah. Can't they? I mean, I don't know. I suppose it's quite a big thing to kill.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Oh, it's not a task I'd like to.
Well, it's all up to Bilbo. It's always about Bilbo, isn't it?
Bilbo Baggins.
Thorin Oakenshield. Wasn't a big fan of him, but
wait, is that the main?
He's the
one?
He's the kind of warrior one.
The one
who chopped Azog's arm off.
Potentially pissed off.
And he wasn't happy about him being in the crew. He said, we've got all these dwarves, got a wizard. Who's this fucking Charlie?
Who's this half pint?
Halfling. And then he showed his courage at the end to take on Azog and give him a little bit of jip, and then the seagulls came and saved the day.
Yeah, great narrative thing that just keeps going and just go.
Just when you think someone's going to die,
whispers to a butterfly, and then they go.
Yeah, it's the end of the road. Everyone's going to die because the orcs are really hardcore.
And then they just go and pick them all up.
I'll blow into a butterfly's ear, and then all these eagles come and save the day.
Which ended, obviously. I don't think it's really a spoiler now. If you haven't seen The Last Lord of the Rings, then don't worry about it.
No, it's a spoiler because there's a book out there you can read if you want.
Well, yeah. But like that's when they're all stuck and they threw the ring in that mountain of fire, whatever it was, and then the eagles came and picked them up and took them home. Take them there in the first place, and then just fly them there.
That's true. Yeah.
Why are they such part-time
The Lord of the Rings?
Help?
It was. Yeah, you're right. They help when they want to help. When it's not involving in getting near the.
Well, they're just
fire.
Watching. It's like, we've got to wait until you're literally about
the Lord
to
of the
die.
Rings,
then I'm going to do something.
We had 3 films, 9 hours of footage before Frodo finally gets to the fire.
Oh, he
get on the bloody eagle's back and go straight there.
Get straight there. Fast track.
Don't need to trek.
No, exactly.
Just saved a lot of pissing about.
So a lot of piss arsing around.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I enjoyed the film. I think it maybe didn't live up completely to the hype because I think it was fairly predictable at times.
Yeah.
Everyone got away scot free. 1,000 goblins would battle these dwarves, and someone got a black eye. And the predictability about it was, they started out with one wizard, 13 dwarves, and 1 hobbit, and they ended the film with the same, and no one died.
No one died.
But it wasn't just that no one died. The only person who got into a bit of bother was Thorin Oakenshield, who was going to get killed, but then the eagles came. So a little bit predictable at times, but then that's the book's the book, and I think he went fairly.
The book's the book. The film's the film.
That was the Hobbit. There we go.
That's the Hobbit.
Okay, so moving on to TV. Big TV in 2012. Homeland was on to its second series.
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of Homeland, so
yeah.
What were your thoughts on the second series?
Well, the first series last year was really good. It was a really good series. It's built on quite a tight premise in that what would happen if essentially an American veteran was turned into a terrorist, sort of. Was turned around by Al Qaeda, and they don't show well making like a fake terrorist thing. It's pretty much Al Qaeda, I think. And it basically, if he became a suicide bomber essentially, and it was all the whole first series was like, is he one? Is he not? It was quite tightly scripted like that, and it was really good. And it ended, and spoilers if you haven't seen it, but it ended, and he basically didn't blow up a lot of senators and things like that, but was about to, and it sort of should have ended there. I think in retrospect.
Do you feel that it was a case, like a lot of drama series, that if the first series is extremely successful, they push through the second one as soon as they can?
Well, of course they will.
Probably even halfway through the series, one is on TV.
Yeah.
The ratings were big. The big cheeses probably said, "Well, this is going well. Let's get a second series."
Well, of course. I mean,
it may have been meant for one off. It may well have been.
No, I don't think they ever plan them. The business people for making them one off. That they want them to go as long as possible. But the concept of it is probably more suited to a film, actually, because it's quite tight and it's not like a serialized soap like a lot of these things become. That was the idea. It finished the idea. Instead of moving on to an entirely different sort of theme or case, like say The Wire did, whereas the second series didn't have much to do with the first one narratively. It just had a lot of the same characters in it. They sort of just tried carrying it on in the second series, and actually it got quite confusing. It was really like it felt like it was treading water a lot. Well, the second series was much worse than the first series. I don't think there's any doubt about that in my mind. Anyway, it's still very well acted, but the plot is so all over the place. It went from being quite probably a realistic-ish play on a concept like that to now it's a bit more like 24, where it's just they're using lots of official sounding names. I was going to be into 24
because do you think it's something that's going to span out into this, well,
it's so popular 5, 6, 7
series?
And they'll try, yeah.
And the problem with that is, like 24, each series becomes more unbelievable than the next, and before you know it,
and that's what
the main character becomes a bit of a
careful.
superhero.
Yeah,
Jack Bauer went from kind of this, slightly rogue agent, not playing by the rules, that kind of stuff, into this kind of almost superhero type character. He's almost like a comic book.
The difference with that is, I suppose it always started a bit ridiculous, and that's what you signed up for. Whereas this sort of is slowly turning
very
into
realistic.
It. Well, to an extent, yeah, and that was sort of the idea of it. Like, what if it really happened? Not just this superhero land, where there's different forces, and they've sort of got the names of the CIA, but there's very little to do with the real world in there. But it. Yeah, I mean...
Where do you see it going from here?
Oh, they'll carry it on, because it's still really popular. And probably... I mean, the difference is they didn't want to get rid of Brody. I forget, is Daniel Lewis, I think? Damian Lewis. Whereas they should have, actually. And if they'd have got rid of him... and then the second series was just about something else, and
this is the problem, isn't it? Once you get this,
but he was so popular.
Once you get this hero like a Jack Bauer in 24, you're not going to kill him off, and which then unfortunately.
Well, no, he wasn't necessarily the hero, because he was the guy that.
No, I know, but I don't mean my hero. I mean the main protagonist.
Yeah,
the main focus. Yeah. You can't kill. You want
that's quite possibly
to make
the
it as good as it could possibly be.
Yeah,
as you say, you could kill him off, and then you start off in a new tangent, bring a new cast in, but. They won't do that, and it's like a lot of things. You think it makes it slightly more predictable, though, as the series go on. If you're keeping this main character going, yes, he's under all these different threats, and oh God, what's going to happen? But you know that he's not going to be killed off because he's the main man.
Yeah.
So do you lose a little bit of that kind of unpredictability?
Yeah, and I think you do to an extent. Where they'll take it now, I'm not sure. I suspect it will become even more ridiculous. I mean, the big thing with it is who's the goodie, who's the baddie, which they did very well, and it worked quite well, hinting at that in the first series. But you can't keep doing it. Then that was
the main pull of the first series. It was this character, this kind of mysterious character. Is he good? Is he evil?
But you can't keep doing it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But it gets like, I think it was like Heroes. Where, I mean, I gave up on Heroes, but it was. When it became too much like that, it was like, oh, he's a goodie. Oh, now he's changed allegiance. Now he's a baddie.
Well, that's
now
what
he's
they
gone back
do,
in. You're like, well, what is this?
That's what they often do, don't they? With a lot of films and TV. I mean,
not that will stop it being on the telly though.
And you have it in 2013. I'm sure.
Well,
I'm sure.
Oh, I think it'll run for at least 5
next year, and we'll be talking about it next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's almost the end of the year. New Year is coming up. Oscars just around the corner.
So, what would you say your, in conclusion, films of the year?
The Dark Knight Rises was the film of 2012.
Yeah. I've got more time for that sort of comic book film than sort of something the Avengers.
Christopher Nolan, again, is a director who, he's not just giving you a man in a suit. He's not just giving you a bit of cliched kind of comic book tap.
No, he wants to tie it in with bigger themes.
Film that links in with kind of the current world.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes that actually gets a little bit laboured, to be honest. I think I appreciate that it's there, but again, it's trying to tackle the big issues with kid gloves.
Well, it's trying to get
that. I think it's always going to come across as a little strained.
Well, The Dark Knight is trying to get away from it just being a superhero. It's essentially, this guy is not a superhuman. I know that Batman was never, he's not got special powers. But it's essentially trying to say that this is just a real man. He's the vigilante. In a real world, in a town that could, a city that could be New York. Obviously, Gotham's meant to be
basically New York, isn't it?
And it could be same if you were going to set it in London. It's trying to say, this is a real man in the real world. And some people might say that that's trying to take a too big a leap of faith in trying to make it realistic as well as being a comic book film. But I think that better than any other director that's taken on a comic book film, he has kind of transcended the comic book genre and kind of made it more of a serious kind of psychological film as well as just being a comic book caper.
I agree with that.
And it was huge. I mean, that Bane, you thought that you couldn't top the performance of Heath Ledger as the Joker in The Dark Knight, and I think to have come up with Tom Hardy's performance as Bane, to be almost, or even as influential a kind of character.
Well, he's great. He's great as Bane. I mean, I just think they could have simplified it a bit more. Like, so it is trying to. It has this vague point on money and the class system without ever actually attacking it. It just sort of whispers around the idea of it. Which is like, well, if you've got a point, it
was again a little bit like what kind of the Joker was doing in
but that was sort of more generally about terrorism, I suppose.
No, but it was also about anarchy. It was about you see where the scene where the Joker burns all that money.
Yeah,
it's saying I'm not your average criminal. I'm not someone who just wants to be all powerful or
well, I'm in it for the
he's
crime
in it to
of
smash things up. And the quote in The Dark Knight, some people just want to see the world.
Some people just want to see the world burn.
That's the one. Yeah, see,
that's Michael Caine.
That's Michael Caine, and he does. Andrew will do you a set of.
A set of impressions?
Yeah, that's the. Yeah, I mean, we'll do another podcast will be just dedicated to Andrew.
I'll do Bane.
Hello, Batman.
That's absolutely hideous.
Do you feel in control now?
What is that?
I think that's
Liberace.
Well, he did have a strange voice, didn't he?
He did have a strange voice. What does he say?
You think darkness is your ally?
No, that's Yoda.
Well, no, he does sound a bit like Yoda. That's
it's
all a bit.
It's Yoda. Yeah. It's Yoda mixed with.
Someone really deep the voice.
Well, firstly you had him with the muzzle, and everyone's saying, "Oh, you can't hear anything he's saying." The next thing you know, he's become Yoda. So
take your city, Gotham.
Yeah. So like he is a bit anarchic, like the Joker is. He just wants them, to start again, and then same again because he's from the League of Shadows, Bane. Like Ra's al Ghul, it was all about starting again. Ripping up,
Well, it's making
Gotham.
a big.
You have to destroy Gotham
statement
to start again.
Yeah, like a big representation of like the biggest city and showing how evil it is, and then
they're saying.
Civilization.
Well, they said in the Batman Begins,
so
didn't they?
lame at that point though.
But
they did it
in Batman Begins. It was all about. They talked about how. In Rome, in Constantinople, they just these kind of cities imploded and then started again.
They burnt London to the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Blah, blah, blah. And it's the same with this.
Basically, they're saying that they started the fire in Pudding Lane.
But the way they did it in the way they did it in Batman Begins, it was all about kind of destroying Gotham by getting everyone mad and tearing up the city. And in The Dark Knight, the Joker was trying to pit those two people kind of. You remember they had the two boats. Yeah,
that's a bit. I thought that film was the best one of the three by far, except for that bloody bit when it was all great. But they can never just have like a mental villain.
A bit of a sentiment.
But it's a real sentimental thing, and it's so strange. It's like you've got to prove that people are bad, but then actually the criminal who was a multi-murderer went, "No, I'm not killing anyone else to save myself, though."
Yeah, that was It was a bit cheesy. The one guy who'd stand up for sense and logic and
was
and
a
ethics
convicted
and morals.
multi-rapist.
And
like, well,
the multi-rapist killer.
What's your point?
Weird guy chucked the bomb.
Yeah, but the businessman wanted to
out
do
the
it.
window.
So therefore, rapists are good, businessmen are bad. Is that your point?
Yeah, but again, they've gone for that theme again with the Don't Know Why's. Batman. Bane. When he gets the mic in the American football stadium, and it's all about I'm handing the city over to you people. One of you people, will have control. It's all about the the police department and the authorities have tricked you. You know, they pretended that. What's his name? Two-Face.
Harvey Dent.
They're trying to say that they try to hide the fact that Harvey Dent was actually, turned evil in the end, and because of that, it was injustice to the people to not tell them the truth. So let's give Gotham back to its people. But obviously, what he wanted to do was for the people of Gotham to destroy their own city, and then he could start again. And it's
Yeah.
For me, it was a phenomenal film.
It's very well done, very cinematic, great acting. I think it reached a little bit further than perhaps the superhero.
It is. It's taken the superhero genre to another level, and
I think where we disagree is whether or not how effectively it did that. I don't necessarily think it did that very well. I think it had pretensions of doing
I think
big
it did.
issues. Again, like pretend.
I think the Dark Knight trilogy,
pretentious.
I think the Dark Knight trilogy, is as good as anything that's ever been done in terms of kind of comic book, translations into film.
I'll agree with that. But then I think most of the time comic book films are just that.
Yeah, but I mean, as a standalone, I think I think in years to come you'll look back on that trilogy, and I don't think it's going to be hard to beat that. And there's obviously talk about the Justice League, following the Avengers trying to
probably
cash
as soon
in.
as you throw Superman in a film, it's just.
Well, that's what I mean. Superman's coming out soon. What's it called? The
Dark Knight. I think it's Superman Returns or something.
No, I think it's. We'll have to get this.
It's called The Man of Steel.
So the Man of Steel.
Another reboot.
Again, can you really make? I think what they're trying to do is, I think Christopher Nolan's, put the superhero genre. He's raised the bar.
He's put it on another.
And
shelf,
I think that's what they're trying to do with the Man of Steel. You can already see with the trailer.
Fair enough.
But can you ever make a film with the Superman with a cape and pants outside his trousers?
Exactly.
Can you ever take that seriously?
Can it ever be that seriously?
At least with Batman, I think
at least it is a dude in a flak jacket.
It just about made it kind of passable, as kind of it felt real.
Yeah, just about.
Can you ever do that with a guy in a cape?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the same as Spider-Man. As soon as the fucking Green Goblin Spider-Man, you're like, what am I looking at here?
It remains to be seen whether the new Superman film can follow suit.
Yeah.
But it's been a massive year for blockbusters, and we've got obviously the Oscars coming around the corner where there's some interesting films coming out, which we'll look at in probably our next podcast.
Yeah. We'll take a look at nominations.
So we're coming into the end of the first podcast now. We're almost at the end of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to finish the year? With a bang?
With a big bang.
How's your New Year's going to be?
I think fairly a low key one. A few drinks, maybe a board game. Imagine
board
that.
Games again.
What do you mean board games again? You were playing board games at Christmas. I haven't been near a board game in 3 years.
Well, you have your boggle.
I will play Boggle.
I'll large it up.
What are you doing?
Going to a club night.
Oh, club night.
Paying through the nose, probably.
Oh, I live in London.
Yeah, well, and they, at least for the one day of the year where they run the tubes all the way through, which they should do 365 days a year. So I can go and eat my eggs. I can drink myself silly, and I can get on the boat and back home, and before you've got your taxi. So
that's big words, big coherent words.
So enjoy your New Year's,
and
we'll be back in the new year with our episode 2 of Raging Balls.